Welcome to NCIX Tech Tips. The G75 and G55 gaming notebooks from Asus represent the cream of the cream in terms of portable gaming performance. They feature Ivy Bridge processors, GTX 600 series graphics cards, and fully NVIDIA 3D Vision capable 1080p displays. Now, because both of these notebooks are within the same series, they have similar specs. So they've both got that 3D capable display, which includes support for light boost, which reduces eye fatigue and improves the stereo 3D effect when you're gaming. They both have 3610QM Ivy Bridge processors. They both have 2-year global warranties, with the first year including accidental damage protection. Now, when we get to the graphics cards, they start to differentiate. Our G75 model includes a GTX 670M with 3 gigs of video memory. It also has 16 gigs of RAM, a 256 gig SSD boot drive, which makes it phenomenally fast, and 750 gigs of storage. It also has a Blu-ray combo drive. Moving over to our G55, it has a GTX 660M with 2 gigs of video memory, 12 gigs of RAM, and because it doesn't have dual hard drive bays inside, we don't have an SSD boot drive, only a 750 gig drive that is used both for boot and for storage. It also has a DVD combo drive as opposed to the Blu-ray drive in the G75. Now, once we get away from the specs, we can have a look at the exterior and the build quality of these notebooks. They both have very robust hinges on the screens that are quite nice ergonomically for sitting in front of the notebook because of the way they're positioned, not quite at the back of the notebook, but a little bit closer away from it. They also both have a soft touch feel that is very, very pleasing and a little bit more durable than the kinds of glossy plastics that you tend to see on a lot of notebooks these days. They both have full backlit keyboards that are more of a desktop style, that is with a correctly laid out set of arrow keys, as well as full-size shift keys, enters, and backspaces, and even the 15-inch model has a full number pad, which is very, very cool. They both have large touchpads, and they both use the same style of sound bar to deliver sound. However, the G75 also has a subwoofer built into the bottom. They both have very, very similar I/O layouts. So on the left sides, I'm going to hold the G55 on the top and the G75 on the bottom. You see the optical drive, you see the microphone and headphone ports, as well as 2 USB 3.0 ports and a Kensington lock. And on the other side, you see 2 more USB 3.0 ports, an HDMI port, a Thunderbolt port, a VGA port, as well as gigabit Ethernet. Both of these models also use matte screens, which increases comfort and honestly means they have to use a higher quality panel behind it in order to get the color performance. And they both use dual fan intelligent cooling, with the G75 having the additional advantage of including extra filters for you to easily clean the dust out of it and keep it running at peak performance. Now, for people buying a gaming notebook, a lot of those people, it's going to come down to performance and portability. Both of these notebooks perform incredibly well. We're running Crysis 2 at very high settings, and you can see the performance difference. This is a very quick and dirty benchmark, is about 15% going from our G55 configuration to our G75 configuration. Remember, it doesn't take more power to drive a 17-inch panel if they're both running at 1080p. However, the G75 also weighs about 15% more, 4.35 kilograms versus 3.85 kilograms for the G55. You gotta weigh the advantages and the disadvantages. So we are gonna do a Tech Tips Live where we're gonna tweet, which do you prefer for a gaming notebook form factor, 15-inch or 17-inch? So we're gonna go ahead and tweet that, and I'm just going to sign my phone out here. We're gonna wait for people to get back to us, and in the meantime, let's talk accessories. Both of these notebooks come with notebook backpacks that are designed specifically for them. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of this apart, throw it in there, and show you my little fashion show here, what I'm going to look like with my awesome army green Asus ROG gaming notebook backpack. So stay tuned for the results of our Tech Tips Live, and that's coming very soon. We got some great results for Tech Tips Live, so it looks like most of you prefer 17-inch monitors on your gaming notebooks. It was 45 to 35, 17-inch versus 15-inch. However, some of the reasons people selected 17-inch seem to be somewhat flawed. A bigger screen does not give you a wider field of view in the battlefield unless it has higher pixel density. Since they're both 1080p panels, you're seeing exactly the same thing, it's just blown up more on the 17-inch screen. Another thing is that 17-inch does not equal higher pixel density, and it is actually the other way around because you have the same number of pixels in a smaller space on a 15-inch model. So maybe some of those 17-inch guys want to change their answers now that they're aware of that. Now, I do want to do a few Tech Tips Live Twitter awards. Dom was our first reply this time, with Blair and Adam R getting our Smart Arse award because their responses, respectively, were get a desktop, that's the only real solution for gaming, and 30-inch. A 30-inch notebook would not be portable, Adam R. So thanks for that. Simon Bernhardt, okay, I'm not even going to try. Simon has what I believe is the closest thing to my opinion, and he says get the 15-inch because compared to a 17-inch, it's still pretty much portable, whereas a 17-inch is really more of a desktop replacement. So if you guys want to vote and you didn't have a chance to participate in Tech Tips Live, I'd love for you to vote the video up if you think 15-inch is the best option, and vote the video thumbs down if you think 17-inch is the best option, and that way anyone who sees this video in the future will know what the prevailing opinion is out there. Thanks for checking out this episode of NCIX Tech Tips.